Today we're going to learn how to add and subtract polynomials. It's pretty basic. All you have to do is combine your like terms, and that's it. So we're going to start out with our examples. So we have this binomial added to this binomial. So I'm going to go ahead and underline my like terms. Well, I only have one a squared, so it's not going to combine with anything. I have one just a alone. And then I have my constants of 8 and -1. So now we're just going to combine our like terms. So 3a squared plus nothing, there's no like term, we keep it. So we keep 3a squared. Then I'm going to go to the 5a because we're going to keep this in standard form. 0 5a plus 5a is 5a, a positive. And then we have 8 plus -1, so that's a 7. And that's it. So you just combine those like terms. So in this next example, we actually have like terms that we can underline. So I have my x squareds right there. I have just my x alone, and then my constants that I can add to. So -x squared plus 3x squared is 2x squared. 5x plus -8x is -3x. 4 plus 9 is 13 positive. So make sure you're watching your negatives and positives. Now we have subtraction underneath. So we have our like terms that we're going to underline. And subtraction might be a little different at points, but pretty much the same. So we have y squared minus 2y squared, so that's 1y squared, or -y squared would work. 4y minus a -5y is a positive 9y. And then 2 minus a -3 is a positive 5. And then in the next one, we kind of combine our like terms again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's easier, guys, if you underline. It just helps to show you what's the same or what's different. So 5x squared minus 2x squared is 3x squared. 4x minus nothing, we don't have any like term in that binomial, so we just have a positive 4x. And then -1 minus a -6 is a positive 5. And there you go. Go ahead and try the next few problems on your own and check back and see if your answers are correct. All right, these are the answers that you guys should have received. There's just a couple things that I want to point out. First off, in this third example, the 3's ended up canceling out. We had 3 minus 3. Obviously, that's 0, so we didn't do anything with that. Now, in the fourth example, we have a -3k squared because we had no k square over here in the first binomial, but we do in the second. So it's basically saying 0 minus 3k squared is a -3k squared. So just wanted to let you guys know that, but hopefully your answers are correct. If not, try to see where your mistakes are. Here are just more examples, and we have a couple trinomials that we're going to combine like terms of. So this just helps with your vocabulary. They're asking for the sum and the difference. So make sure you guys get the answers correct and check back to see if your answers are correct. All right, these are the answers you should have gotten. They were the same trinomials in both of the examples, but you had to find the sum and then you had to find the difference. So make sure your answers are correct, and there you go. Now we have a word problem that we're going to talk about. So this says a penny is thrown straight downward from a height of 200 feet. At the same time, a paintbrush falls from a height of 100 feet. The polynomials represent the heights and feet of the objects after t seconds. So t is always going to stand for the time. So now it says, write a polynomial that represents the distance between the penny and the paintbrush. So we are going to have to find the difference. So the penny versus the paintbrush. We're going to do the penny first minus the paintbrush. So we just have to go ahead and write them out. So I'm writing the pennies trinomial, and we put them in parentheses, and we subtract it to the binomial of the paintbrush. And now we just find the difference. So we combine our like terms, and I see that I have my t squared I don't have any t by itself, but I do with my constants, my regular numbers. So negative t squared minus a negative t squared, they cancel out. Negative 40t minus nothing, so we have negative 40t. And then 200 minus 100 is a positive 100, and that's the difference. Then it says, what is the distance between the objects after 2 seconds? So we already found the binomial, the negative 40t plus 100. Now we just have to plug in 2 for t, because that's your seconds. So we have negative 40 times 2 plus 100. Negative 40 times 2 is a negative 80 plus 100. Negative 80 plus 100 is the same as 100 minus 80. So we have 20 feet, which is their difference. Now, write the polynomial that represents the height of the penny after t seconds. And what is the distance between the objects after 1 second? Okay, so now things have changed a little bit. We have this that is instead of the penny's polynomial. So now this negative 16t squared minus 25t plus 200 is now that polynomial. So we have to find the distance between the two after 1 second. So go ahead and answer this problem. You're going to subtract the two polynomials and then plug in 1 for t. Check back and see if your answers are correct. All right, so when I subtracted my polynomials, I got what you have in purple here. And this is going to be that binomial that we plug in 1 for t. So I did that over here in green. I got 75 feet is the distance between the objects after 1 second.